I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief, thank you. Welcome everyone to the first meeting of February, and we have no guests on the agenda. We'll go to minute approval. Has everyone had an opportunity to look and read over the minutes?
I did.
I didn't find any problems with them. I'll make a motion unless someone's got any comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mike?
Yes.
BJ? Yes. Gene?
Yes. We have two scheduled reports tonight. The first one will be from our zoning inspector, Mr. Frank Kitko.
Okay, gentlemen, you should all have a copy of the activities for January. We did issue, I think, one permit for the deck, but other than that, we processed 7 requests, one agriculture exemption, one commercial addition, but we have 4 development plan, or 2 development plan reviews, and subsequently those will both be denied unless they make some more changes. And but as of right now, they will be denied.
When you say development plans, just
Well,
a house review or a whole subdivision?
Here's what's is happening, and you'll see this will be reflected in the fee schedule as well when you get to that. But what these guys are doing is, Bruno being one down there at the, first of all, he's got multiple lots, and it started out with one proposal. We reviewed, he came to the Board of Appeals, withdrew. Now, then we got a second proposal, a little bit different layout, different traffic pattern. But here again, it's multiple lots. It's also multiple zoning districts, okay? Because one lot that he's dealing with is in the Village Retail District, and one is in the VE2 District. So it's very difficult to, until we know exactly what he's going to do, to steer him, you know, like, okay, look, you're in a B2, this is a setback, this is the district, this is the permitted uses, this is village retail, completely different setbacks, completely different uses. So we're trying to work with him and his architect. But the latest, that we've been working with him for a couple months, Jane and I, probably 6 months at least. Now, last week, they gave us a completely different proposal, where they're going to demo everything and start from scratch, but they're going to build a 450 banquet hall, like, or something, possibly. I want to propose to the architect.
Who is this, Bruno? Who?
The guy that owns a coffee shop down there.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, we've been working with him back and forth, and that's why you'll see in the fee schedule that we've put a line or 2 in there, because this has taken a lot of time to review this and then respond to the architect and or the person that's applying, and then so we respond, we give them all this written stuff, and then they change the whole project, and we have to sit down, and these are conceptual at this point, and we have to start all over and then comment, and it takes Jane and I a couple hours to do it, you know. So you'll see that, and we've added a couple lines in the fee schedule to help accommodate some of that effort that was being put in. But we know we got that one, we got our buddy Donardo. We also know that the Six Dogs guy, he's been in and out, called 3 or 4 or 5 times, can I do this, can I do that?
Who's that?
The guy that owns all the parcels, he calls himself Six Dogs. He's been in to see you guys about changing the zoning down there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he owns, in the B4 district down there, he owns 5 or 6 lots. Okay, you know, and he wanted to go multifamily, you know, he talked to you guys about that. I think he actually approached the zoning commission at one point. But, so, you know,
South of the freeway.
south of the freeway.
East side?
Huh?
East side?
Isn't that
Well,
big
he
one
owns
behind my
east,
house?
he owns east and west, he owns both sides,
Okay.
you know. And his company is Six Dog, I can't remember his name, but he was in it to see you guys, I don't know, maybe August,
Yeah,
September, something
Six
like
dogs, I
that.
think, or
Of
six.
this-
He's got
He sat back here and he just listened to basically everything, but, you know, he did come to the zoning commission and talk with them about it. But one of the things that everybody's missing down there, and PJ, you know, you've been in, yeah, there's sewers, but there's no water. So any development down there, that any kind of concentrated development is gonna require somebody to build a water treatment plant, and I don't think this township is wanting to do it. You know, I mean, that was the big holdup in 1989 when we went and changed all that bid down there with Don and Laura and everything, and they changed all that. And DB Hart was proposing multifamily and everything. I said, wait a minute. I says, there's no water there.
You know, that's central water.
I said, yeah, there's a sewer connection and it's a sewer, but there's no central water. You can't build a 36-unit apartment complex and expect to draw out the water for one well. You know, you need some kind of water system, you know, so,
Well, let me ask you this, this is a dumb question, I'm sure, but what can you build if you can't get water?
well, you can build what some of the uses are permitted down there, but you can't build something that's multifamily or kind of apartment complexes, or like, we had that proposal a few years back from Redwood where they wanted to, without some kind of water system. Because if you have 25, 30 people all trying to take a shower at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're drawing off of 1 or 2 wells, you can imagine what's gonna happen, you know? So, you know, that's, in my opinion, that's been part of the reluctancy for some people to develop down there, is because, yes, there is a central sewer, but there is no central water system, you know, and,
So if every person that has a lot there, each wanted to build one thing, how does that affect the water?
well, they drill their own well,
Well,
but if you,
So you're just saying someone who's gonna use a large amount of water
Right.
cannot build it.
Right.
Like a car wash isn't gonna have that.
right,
I looked into that, I was in and out of working here when DB Hart was doing the
Right,
business
right.
back then. It must have been afterwards, when all that planned business district zoning and everything went in. Met with, I think it was Gus Cyclade near the end of his career.
Yeah.
Water Resources.
yeah,
And to duplicate Auburn Lake's central water well field, I think they got 6 wells over there, which he thought would roughly serve that area down there as well, was like between $2 and $2.5 million.
right.
You know, if you're looking for something unpopular to put on the ballot, we could do that here.
But no,
I
that's,
think the last people,
you know,
I think the last potential developers that were aware they needed central water down there was that Cozar Dixon group,
right.
and we saw what happened with them.
Right, well, that's the thing, you know, they get all cranked up to do it, and they make all these proposals to the zoning, and, you know, and then they find out, hey, there's no water system down there. Yeah, there's a central sewer, and they just come, a lot of them, because they assume there's a sewer there's also central water. Well, there isn't, so that stops everything, you know, I mean, there's a piece down there that's 50-some acres, but it only has a 58-foot right-of-way to it. You gotta have 60 feet to put a road in. You know, so those are some of the issues that they face down there. But like I said, Jane and I have spent quite a bit of time, working with these guys and trying to, you know, tell them some of the things that they can do, and they don't wanna hear it because it's not gonna make them enough money, you know. There is a big push, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is a big push to get some kind of apartment idea or complex or multifamily down there. There's people pushing for it. You
Well, if
know.
those people are pushing for it, are they willing to spend the $2 or $3 million
Well,
to
that's
put
a
in the
good
water?
question, I don't think so,
No?
you know, but, so anyway, that pretty much concludes my report, and I'll wait for whenever you wanna do the fee schedule.
Well, we can do that now while you're here.
Well,
Isn't it ironic,
you should
though?
all have a copy of that, and if you, I think what we've done is, anything that's a change or I think Jane has highlighted in yellow, but we did add, a revision of a zoning permit, okay, a fee for that, because what happens, okay, you submit a zoning permit, a zoning application to this office, we stamp it, we give you approval, and then you come back and say, look, I wanna make these changes. So we want the right, if we have to review and refigure everything, to add an additional charge. And that would be, for commercial or for residential, that would be $50. Now, we're not saying we would automatically do it, but have the ability to do it if it takes us a lot of time to do it. Okay? So that's a change. I think we raised the price of public facilities from $350 to $425. Conditional uses from $350 to $425. And we did plan review in commercial and or industrial. If it's multi-plan reviews, 2 reviews or more, $100. And then I think we would like to change the variance conditional uses from 545 to 550, just make it, because 550 just, there's a mental block with that 545, so that would be a $5 increase. $200 increase if somebody wants to initiate a full-blown amendment, where it used to be $800, change it to $1,000. And then, of course, you see the mobile food truck fee there has been added. And the transit vendors, we've always had that 100, we changed it to 150 if soliciting. All right?
Yeah, if you continue or ask for an extension on a BZA meeting, $300 fee, that's new?
Yeah, well, I think that might be new. I can't remember
I know
whether
we've
we
had
charged
that.
something before or not.
I know we've had that.
You know, just to cover the cost of additional, you know, if you guys were to sit down and figure it out, what you pay the members of the board and the secretary, the $500 doesn't cover the cost. So if you have multiple meetings, now you're really going in the hole. So yeah, I think we should charge that additional fee.
All right, revisions to a zoning permit, an already obtained zoning permit too.
Yeah,
Half the original fee. That makes sense to me
And
as
we've got-
well. That's like issuing a new
Again,
zoning permit.
Frank, you were referencing the permit fees, but we're raising the fees too for construction started before permit,
right,
so that's a different number.
yeah,
Public facilities, we're talking 400 to 475 now,
right.
conditional use 400 to 475.
that's if they start construction before.
So, okay, just wanna make sure we had that on the record.
They're working on an amendment with zoning, with storage containers right now.
I believe so, yes, that was one of the things they asked me, and I said we have to address it somehow, but we have to address it we have to make sure that the building department is okay with it. In other words, if you wanna put a storage container on your property as an accessory use, that's fine. But if you wanna put a storage container or multiple storage containers and then bring the public or a residence into it, then we wanna make sure that the building department is okay with that. Does that pass building code? In other words, is that gonna pass building codes? But yes, they are working on it right now, and I think they've asked the building department, or Jane has reached out to the building department for the board, asking for their input on this, because I would say a year back, it was up in the air. We couldn't get a definitive answer from the building department. Their comment at that point is, it's not permitted if you're gonna make it a dwelling, or you're gonna make it, add on to a restaurant, or something like that.
Definitely a trend that
Right.
way, yeah.
Yeah, it is,
I've
it's a
seen it
trend,
all
it's
over.
going through the country, yes, it is. So, I think that the zoning commission is gonna work on that, and with Mr. Dietrich and with, the building department to make sure, because it's come up 3 or 4 times in the last year, business-wise, in other words, in a business district, for instance. And our comment was, until the building department signs off on it, you can't do it unless it's strictly for storage. If it's for storage, that's not a problem. But if it's for the public to enter in any way, shape, or form, or if you're gonna build a house specifically of it, is the building department okay with it? If they're okay with it, then we'll do it.
I was up here this afternoon and talked to Jane, and I'm on board with the minor changes you've made. The only one is one of the new ones, and that's the mobile food units for a
Right.
property owner for $100. Okay, I'd like to see that at 50, because the food truck vendor themselves is gonna have to get a permit for $50. And Frank, I think we talked at a meeting before that I kinda saw this as kind of in line with the transient vendor thing.
Yeah.
So
Could be.
I would like to stay with 50 there. And the other reason for that is because one of the places we get food trucks several times a year is at Adam Hall.
Yeah, well,
So
but,
I don't want
but
to.
Adam Hall's exempt,
I know we're exempt,
because it's not in a commercial district.
Well, I don't want to go to this
Yeah, I know what you're saying, right. Yeah, so, but, we just wanna make sure that, as far as, we wanna make sure that they're safe, and they're located in the proper place.
Well, it's new too, so
Yeah,
I would
I mean,
rather shoot low
it's
here
gonna
and adjust
take
later
some-
if we have to.
Right, it's gonna take some, so if you wanna change that, fine, that's,
Which one you talking about, right here?
Yeah, this is
The
for
property owner
the
one.
property owners, for what was the location one. And then, of course, the vendor themselves needs a $50 permit. So I always saw this as in line with the transient vendor thing, which is $100 for an annual. I'd rather do that. If we have to adjust it, we'll adjust it.
right.
You wanna adjust it to the 50 now?
I do, yes.
Make a motion?
Well, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the zoning permit application fees effective February, with the changes included, with one modification is mobile food units locations $50 per calendar year rather than $100.
Is there a second?
Second?
Dan?
Mike,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. Hey, Frank, anything else, Frank?
Nope.
Does anybody on the board have any more questions for Frank? Does anyone from the audience have any questions for Frank?
Yes, actually I do. You
Yeah.
mentioned the 2 developments, and then only talked about one. Where's the second one? Or is that not public information?
No, it's, if you've been coming to trustees meetings, this gentleman approached the trustees about a big, he wanted part of a trustee's property and so forth. It's hidden in his development
Okay.
as well as, and I don't know, I don't think either one of them have got to the fire department yet, right, chief?
No.
You know, and that's another thing, you know, both of these, commercial projects at some point need to go to the fire department, to have them look at things as well. And for the one guy in particular has no desire to do that, so.
6 Dogs, Bob Rosen has been out to see me.
Huh?
6 Dogs, Bob Rosen?
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's been out to see me about his lot behind my property.
right. I couldn't remember his name, but he's one of the ones that's pushing for some kind of apartment complex or some kind of multifamily situation. And he's talked to me about it, and I said it's not permitted, and he's talked to Jane about it, and Jane's told him the same thing.
We had a couple of commercial applications that looked at that property. Problem was they were gonna have to put in sprinklers and that's,
Right. So there's no water.
right.
You need the Heimlich? I can do it if you need it.
Yeah, straight vodka can be harsh.
Okay? Let's just hold on for a minute here.
That was sudden. Thank you.
You okay? We can go on? Okay. If it's bad, we got the fire chief right here, we can get an ambulance. Okay? Mr. Festermaker, Highway Superintendent.
Well, we had another very busy month in January. We went out 36 times in January, plowing and or salting. We average about 27 tons every time we go out. That's a good average number. For the month of January, we used a total of 977 tons of salt. Over the last 18-year average, about 627 tons, so that shows how much extra we used. It's the most we've used in the last 18 years for a month of January.
Really?
Last year we used about 800. Last year was a pretty heavy January. We didn't use anything in December, but last year we used about a little over 800 tons. And the previous year about 495. So it just shows you how things have been ramping up the last few years. So far this year we used about 1,550 tons of salt. And the average for an entire year, the last 2 years, about 1,700. So we're approaching that average pretty quick for an entire year, and we still have quite a bit to go yet. We did order and receive 700 tons so far, and it's coming in pretty good. They tell you 3 to 5 days, but it's closer to about a week and a half. You know, when we put the order in, which isn't too bad. And I put another order for another 400 tons. So we're doing okay. I guess the next focus is going to be trying to patch the roads up. this time of year, you can't use, the asphalt plants aren't open, so we have to use cold mix. So I put an order in for that, but it's kind of the same thing as a salt, everybody, they're making it and selling it right away, so hopefully I get that within a day or two, and can start filling some holes in.
There's some huge ones on Crackle.
That's what I heard, Crackle, and several developments, yeah, we gotta get down there. If it doesn't show up in the next day or two, I have some old stuff that you could try to use. It does dry out, it doesn't work as well, but I'll try to do something, you know. But that's the next focus, as soon as we get some kind of a break, you know, and some material in. The other thing I wanted to talk about was we do have one employee that's gonna need a CDL. So I started breaking down the cost of a CDL for that employee. I looked at the school costs, and there's several fees to the school. We'll probably have to put them up in a hotel and some kind of food stipend, and maybe even give them some money for fuel to get down there and get back. But the total cost, a good budget number, would be around $3,000.
This is the school, it's rather intense and kind of rapid.
This is one of the fastest ones you can get. It takes
West
like-
Virginia?
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes like a week, and you can have the CDL. So they expedite it, it's a full-time, you can go every day for several hours to get this done.
We've talked about it.
Yeah, that's not a bad price.
No, and I did talk to BJ a little bit about maybe writing up some kind of something to write up that he could sign, you know, that would state that he's gonna stay with us, we're not gonna pay this, and just have him take off. for
Right.
another
A
job.
commitment.
Some kind of a contract that says, you're gonna stay with us, and after 3 years, this will be paid off. You know, maybe earn $1,000 a year towards the price of that. If you take off within that earlier time period, you're gonna owe us some money.
So you would kind of, I'm thinking if you're ballparking 3,000 for it, I'm
Mhm.
thinking 3-year commitment, you
Right.
prorate that out. So after he's
$1,000 a
been
year.
here with a CDL for a year,
Mhm.
it would go to 2
Right,
to 1.
exactly.
And the other option is that he could just pay for it himself, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he's not planning on going anywhere. He's doing very well. I don't want to
Okay,
lose
good.
him. He's.
Yeah, I'd prefer that we pay it and
Right,
have him locked in for 3 years.
right, that's what we're hoping for.
I'll talk to Nathan before we put that in ink,
Mhm.
and then we gotta get that to our prosecutor's office, because
Right, it might take a while.
it might take a while, that's correct.
Well, we can't lose him until spring. I mean,
Yeah.
he's very valuable right now. I can't afford to lose anybody, because we are down one guy
We are still.
compared to last year, which is working out fine. We're not having any problems for keeping up. We don't want to lose anybody right now. I guess the only other thing I really didn't put down was that we are working on another chassis, you know, getting another truck engineered and built. They're still working on all the details, so we haven't got a final price on that, but Dan has been putting money aside every year for it. So it looks like we'll just be able to pay, you know, with a check. But that's in the beginning stages of getting another truck ordered.
Yeah, we're at approximately 180 now, Dan?
Yes.
The chassis, we're looking at about 104 for the chassis, and then plus the upfit, which we're not 100% sure on that, what it's gonna be, but it's not cheap.
Do you see that in this calendar year or next?
It's looking like probably next year, just because it takes so long to, I mean, there's a possibility we could have it, you know, by next December, but
The outfit was, on the last truck, was right around 100,000.
Right. And this should be a little less because it's a smaller truck, but it'll be close. That's about all I have. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience for Mike?
Want to talk about the fuel tanks?
Oh, we did get the fuel tanks up and running, and we have been using them. That's worked out very well for me, because I have to run to the other side of the township to get fuel. I plow the northeastern corner, so that works out great for me. All the guys have been using it and getting used to it. It's a little bit of a change, but not much. You know, they're all pretty, you know, fooling and using this new system.
Kind of one less thing, just
Right.
making a trip west.
Yes.
No,
When we got the computer installed, Almonds was down that day.
Yeah.
I was thinking hard about that one.
And this goes back to the last power outage we had, where we had trees down, you couldn't get down the roads. I was looking for gas for my generator, I couldn't get to Almonds, but the power was down anyway. I ended up driving out to Newberry, that station was down. I went up on 44, there's no power there. I ended up, finally found, got some gas in Manaway, but, you know, we can't have our trucks and our fire trucks running around trying to find some place that's open, so.
Especially when they're busy as it is.
Yeah.
That was back in August, that August one?
Yeah, so I think, you know, this is a good expenditure. Thanks for spearheading that, chief, appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Yeah, we did receive the first bill for the fuel, but the only issue is, shows tax on there, and John's looking into why they put tax on it.
Yeah,
Melzer?
Yeah.
They don't know better than that, they do a lot of municipalities and schools and everything.
It's only they do like,
Yeah, they don't know better than that.
Well, you know, the first thing he said to me is, did you put in the tax exempt form? And I said, yeah. Then he filled it out when he did the application.
Yeah. I know those guys, they work with all kinds of townships and villages everywhere, so.
yeah, I'll get it straightened out.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, I do wanna thank Mike, you know, as he mentioned, we are guys short, it's been a heck of a January, and, with two new guys, you've done an outstanding job over there,
Thanks.
so I think we've had some of the best maintained roads in this corner of the county, certainly a little better than the county does on most occasions, so, yeah, I
makes it a little scary going home. Our roads are good, but we gotta get home somehow.
Yeah, I appreciate what you've done.
I came home on Music Street yesterday, and those were
Yeah, not yesterday was bad. Didn't expect that yesterday.
Okay, trustees' reports, we'll start with Mr. Troyan.
Okay, just one thing I wanted to bring up. Chief Phillips, we got, as you guys know, we finally got the new squad back. And he had some discussions with the department as to what to do with the replacement squad that we had basically got pretty cheap to use in the interim. And I think you and the rest of the department pretty much concur that we're gonna keep this as a backup, which makes sense because it runs fine, it's paid for, we really don't have that much into it. And, but you said you wanna keep it in the rotation though.
Right.
because-
The other things sit, they tend to.
Yeah, you
go
might,
back.
if you're gonna let it sit, you might as well throw it out.
Right.
So that was a good idea, just wanted to let everybody know that's what we're doing with the little truck in case they're curious. But that served us well, and we put a little bit of money into it, but it
If we would've
saved,
paid that in the additional rental,
Sure.
yeah,
That's a
it
lot more.
worked out being an apartment actually.
yeah, so. Yeah, that was a good call, chief, another congratulations for doing that for us, we appreciate it.
I think some of that goes to Mr. Blazer also.
Absolutely,
He's the guy that found it.
yeah, thank you, Keith,
You're welcome.
that's all I had.
Mr. Kavanaugh.
I have got nothing that's not already on the agenda further down, so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The things I have are further down. The other thing that's not further down, two things. One is, we got this thing from the Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste Management. And they're getting ready to bring out their new plans for the coming years. And what they want is they want input from anyone, residents, who question what they're doing, how much it costs, some of the improvements that they're doing. And I'm not gonna read this whole solid waste plan summary, but we'll have it on the back here. If there are any residents in the township who would like to comment in writing to the Geauga Trumbull Waste Management District, they will be happy to hear from you. And you can see these documents up here at the township if you're so inclined to want to comment on it. And other than that, there isn't a lot to say about it. The other thing,
I'd say
go
the
ahead.
township could have one comment on that, is we wanna see that, scrap tire collection
Continue.
funding continue, because I think that's been so successful. How many tires have we sent out of this township in the past 20 years?
How many of those
You know,
ended up in
yeah.
the ditches?
Yeah. That's, I think we were one of the first applicants there, and we've made use of that.
The other thing I want to go over, and if we decide we want to do this, as I bring it up, we have a resolution we'll have to sign, but as some of you may or may not know, we will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of America. And the governor and people in Ohio want to do it Ohio style, and they'd like us to become an official America 250-Ohio community. I believe there'll be grants or giveaways to things to do to help celebrate this occasion. And but to do and be a part of this, you have to join this America 250 Ohio community. It would start by us doing a resolution as a township that we do want to be part of this, to be able to use some of the things that they're going to forward to the communities that are part of this. If we are accepted, which I think we should be, then we'd have to form a committee, not only with someone from our board, but someone in the community that would be willing. And this might even be something that we can incorporate into our annual picnic and what have you, and maybe we can get some of that taken care of financially for us by joining this. The goal is to have at least 250 communities that will be designated as an official American 250-Ohio community, creating hundreds of exciting and engaging opportunities to celebrate and commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States in 2026. So they're inviting all levels of communities, counties, cities, townships, villages from across the state to be part of this. And if the board is actually interested in becoming part of this, like I said, there's a resolution I would have to read, we would have to sign it, and that would get the ball rolling. So I'll open the floor for any discussions on this, if there's something the board feels would be worth us to do. Or...
Yeah, Nancy and I made a contact with a fellow's name's Andrew Mezak. He's Historical Society up in Burton. He's kind of taken the lead on this for the county right now. And he finally cleared up some questions that we had. There's no commitment that goes along with this right now. So this is just kind of get you into the program, and then the program is yet to be determined, really. So, yeah, we've been doing an annual public picnic type event anyway, and perhaps we can fold it in.
And I think your wife is very...
South Russell's in.
South Russell is interested in it.
Jim Dvorak, the commissioner, is the guy that he let me know that Bainbridge was in, although they're really not. Jim made an initial contact with several places around people from around the county, and Nancy and I had a hard time unearthing some of this information. We finally did here a couple weeks ago. It's just, this is the entry into the program. We're committed to nothing by doing this,
So now, this is this a government program, or is it just a private?
It sounds like it's sponsored through the state of Ohio.
I'm imagining the federal government threw some money to the states for the 250th. And they're working on how to use it.
Well, I have no problem with doing it, I think.
If there's no problem, I'll have to read this resolution, and then we'll have to vote, and that'll start the ball rolling. We'll go from there. So this is Resolution 2025-03. Okay, whereas the Ohio legislature and the governor created America 250-Ohio in the 2021 to plan, encourage, and develop and coordinate the commemorative of the 250th anniversary of the United States and Ohio's integral role in that event and the role of its people, on the nation's past, present, future, and whereas America 250-Ohio hopes to engage all Ohioans in all 88 counties through their many signatures and officially recognized programs, projects, and events over the next several years by inspiring future leaders and celebrating all Ohioans' contributions to the nation over the last 250 years, and whereas by adoption of the American 250-Ohio resolution, we hope to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate. Now, therefore, be it resolved and hereby resolved that the Township of Auburn, Geauga County, hereby endorses America 250-Ohio and their mission to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate every Ohioan in every county, and it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Municipal Legislative Delegation and America 250-Ohio Commission. Therefore, voting with a roll call from Dan.
Gene.
We need a motion to adopt that.
We need a motion to adopt, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Second by Mike.
Mike? Yep. PJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes. And then attested to by you, Dan. We'll sign this and then we'll get this off. They're just checking this. Okay. I have some other things in new business, what have you, so we'll move this on to Dan Mansfield.
Okay, since our last trustee meeting, since January 21st, I processed 11 electronic payments totaling $45,211.55 and 18 warrants for $32,276.44 for a total of $77,487.99. When I checked our Huntington, not Huntington, but Middlefield bank checking account, I noticed we had a deposit today of $8,118 from the Marks Grant, the state fire marshal, and you signed the check for Hudson Communications for
The
the
pagers and
pagers
the chargers.
that grant provided. Okay, you also are aware that I attended the Ohio Township Association Conference. That was this past week, and I'll just briefly talk about a few of the classes. I attended the legislative update for townships, which a lot of this information you probably get via email or county quarterly meetings. But some things of interest, House Bill 33 increased statutory competitive bidding thresholds to $75,000 for counties and townships.
Tell me what that means. Tell everybody what it means.
I don't know, I guess it was something less than that before, so we
Yeah, it was,
increased it to
we started, it was
75,000.
25,000, it was 50
It was
for
51 for a
I
the
while.
remember.
last 5 or 6,
Yeah.
7 years.
So that means we can do a project for,
Yeah.
it's under
Yeah.
75,000?
We did that renovation at the museum. Bumping up right next to that.
It means it doesn't have to go out to bid, right?
Right.
Or under that.
Right.
And that includes road projects also, I assume.
Well, yeah, you'd have to do force accounts. Actually, they treat those differently. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
been
I'm
changed.
not sure.
I don't know.
I heard that road account, I heard that the road ones went up also.
It's quite possibly, but this is, I think, more along the lines of what we did at the museum. And looking at some of these ice dams, this one's kind
Basically,
of gradually.
most of the
going
road
away.
projects are kinda up there, so.
Well, we get into, maybe a cross pipe, it could be a $50,000 cross pipe, you don't know. We did a couple on, I think it was Longview last year, or the year before.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And that came in
I'll
under.
have to double check to see if those apply.
We will.
Now we gotta keep under 75, right?
And it said, starting in this year, increases the threshold amount by 3% each year. The new amount, it will be calculated and published by the Director of Commerce. Another thing of interest in that class is all township employees are required to take fraud training. And this is something that slipped through the cracks, except for our fire chief, who back in July submitted his certificate that he attended the fraud training. I think it was just a webinar. So anybody who receives a W-2, which includes the BZA and our zoning commission, is going to be required to take this fraud training. What is it, about a 9-minute webinar?
It's actually about 20 minutes.
20
It's
minutes.
really easy.
Is that something Nancy showed you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that, I've got a certificate for that.
All your employees also?
They were supposed to, I don't know if they all did it or not, I know some of them, I know Mark did, I don't know who all did, but I've got the certificate, I've saved it. So yeah, some of us did take that, now that
And
you
Nancy put an
mention
email out to everybody.
it. Yeah, she sent that out.
Is that annual?
No, every 4 years.
When did you take it? When?
6 months ago or something?
Did you get
It
any?
was several months ago.
I didn't get one either.
I didn't get one.
Yeah.
I did it once, but I don't know when.
I sat
remember
through some
doing it.
webinar
Jamie and
during
I
the
did
peak
it.
COVID
It
nonsense
was-
here, I don't remember what it was though, I don't remember what it was.
It was, I think, maybe 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
All right,
So
well,
what, did they send us an email how to get onto this, and we do it on ourselves, or do we do that?
There's a link you can go on.
yeah, on the website.
And we're gonna get those,
I don't know, I'll
Yeah.
have to ask Nancy. It
Okay.
just sounds like she's coordinating it, so.
Yeah, she's got the link.
Yeah, she did it before. I remember I did it right in this office, yeah.
okay, so we
And
can
it's
just come up and do it.
it's fraud training, right?
Right,
Right.
it's fraud training. Answer the questions.
It's the Ohio Auditor of State's office that gives you the certificate.
Yeah. Okay,
I forgot I took that.
well, we're gonna also have to have the BZA and zoning commission do it.
Well, we'll have to pass that on to the secretaries.
Yeah. Maybe they can do it at the end of the meeting, I
Right.
certainly hate to have them come up here first, give a
Right.
special event for that.
It was in July, right? End
Yeah.
of July, I took that. July 28th.
Well, that's good, glad to.
All right,
Whatever this is. Thank you for your patience.
so make sure you're all right.
Do you want like a lozenge or? No, I got one. Thank you.
You breathing, you can breathe okay?
Yeah. Just.
We got those paddles here, don't we, Chief? Clear?
We gotta do the pre-cordial.
Don't make her laugh.
I'm not.
You make me laugh. Right, don't make. Right.
They also, House Bill 315, revision of the township law. Public notice requirements allows townships to select one or more of 3 methods of publication. The print or digital edition of a newspaper of general circulation within the township, the official public website, or the township's website and social media account. So, we no longer have to publish notices in the newspaper. We can do that on our website. And that's effective, I think it's April 3rd.
And imagine how the newspapers must have lobbied against that idea.
Right, oh boy, yeah.
And now we gotta start a Facebook account so we can put our notices in there.
Yeah.
And that House bill also grants townships the authority to establish township preservation commissions in order to participate in the certified local government programs and become eligible for federal grants. It provides $1.5 million per fiscal year to townships looking to modernize their zoning regulations and processes, and creates a township license plate to better identify township vehicles. So, guess there's some things favorable to townships. I also attended a class on required resolutions for townships, learned what a definition of a resolution is and the difference between a motion and a resolution. Resolutions are used to enact laws and take action as required by the Ohio Revised Code. Resolutions are effective until amended or rescinded. Motions are typically used to enact policies and for day-to-day administrative housekeeping matters. And that's pretty much it of interest. And finally, I received a call from the Chagrin Valley Times around 4 o'clock this afternoon. And apparently they saw the notice from the Ohio Auditor of State that issued a finding for recovery of $11,247.60. That was issued to Fred May's estate for, while his tenure in office, failure to remit federal income tax withholdings, OPERS withholdings, state tax withholdings, payments to the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, and timely credit card payments. And as a result of that, back in 2023 and the beginning of 24, when the IRS raided our township, we paid back all the withholdings, but unfortunately it incurred that amount of penalties and fines. So at the suggestion of the prosecutor's office, they asked that we go to our insurance company, where we have a dishonesty and faithful performance of duty insurance policy, and get that monies. And we did receive that in total, $11,247.60, and it was deposited in our account on January 29th. Now, I did ask this reporter, I said, I don't understand why you're dragging this up. It's past, it's history, and apparently because it just came out, because it was the result of our audit. And I said, well, my opinion is the only thing you're going to do is make it more difficult for the family to have to relive an unfortunate situation, but she's going to do what she's going to do.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but that's, that faithful performance, that's not a bond anymore. What is that actually? What do they call that now?
They call it faithful performance of duty.
But we,
Dishonesty and faithful performance
every
of duty.
trustee and every fiscal officer and every clerk before the fiscal officers had to have that, carry that bond, which the state then changed that you could carry what you just mentioned.
Right.
So this is something that's been in place, I mean, for eons. So the fact that we had the collector, that there was a collection on it is, we've been paying those bills for years.
Right.
We've been paying those bills for years, so that's what it's there for.
Yeah, but wasn't the state's claim wouldn't have been timely anyway against the state?
Because the audit report didn't come out until it was after 6 months from Fred's death.
So they couldn't collect from the
They
estate?
couldn't collect from the estate. So,
Yeah, okay.
that's all I have.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for our fiscal officer? Okay, old business. New streetlight request, Bartholomew Road and State Route 44 and I know we filled out the paperwork for this, PJ, but you were kinda on the limelight on that, weren't you?
Well, they were kind of saying 6 months, they gotta do all the engineering, they gotta set some new
Right.
poles down there. The only thing I have to add, that's gonna be an old business for a while, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Okay,
Uh,
but we've started the work.
We have, yeah, we said
We
we
just have, we're gonna use
kind of put
the,
the order in, now they gotta engineer it.
use the NOPEC funds for that.
Yeah, and that's the only other thing I wanted to add to that is that NOPEC, we're looking around $3,000, $3,200 for this light. Something CEI used to put up upon request without any payment, but that's not how they do business anymore. To use that NOPEC grant, one of the criteria is LED lighting upgrades, and I would say going from no light to a light is an upgrade, but we probably have
That's
to,
an infant.
we probably have to put up some LED high-performance type of light bulb there, but we kind of did that around here too over the years.
Yeah, we've been doing that anyway.
Yeah.
It's- Start paying for the regular bulbs, it's a lot more expensive.
Okay, under new business, we have to designate the directors for the Chagrin River Watershed Partners. We already sent our dues in, we are a member. We can keep the same people we had last year. Last year it was me and Patrick Kavanaugh.
I want to make a motion that you guys continue, since you did such a great job last year, why rock the boat?
Is there any further discussion on that?
You know, we've chased grants through there, that's the
We
reason
have.
that pavilion's up there, is $35,000 came through them, so. When we've got stuff going on, I try to get to, if nothing else, their organizational.
Well, that may help us with our restroom down the road.
Well,
too.
it very well could.
So, I guess we'll just, someone want to make a motion to keep it, or did you already make that
That
motion?
was my motion.
Is there a second? I'll second.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes. Okay, resolution 2025-03, we already did that for the America 250 membership. 2025 zoning permit application fees.
We took
That's
care
what
of
we
that.
did with Frank, we're done with that. So, let me read some of the save the dates. On 2/3, this was our trustees meeting. On 2/11, the ZBA will meet here at 7 o'clock. On 2/13, the zoning commission will meet here at 7 o'clock. On 2/14, it's Valentine's Day. On 2/17, the board of trustees will meet here. I will not be here for that meeting, Mr. Kavanaugh will chair that meeting. On 2/17, it's also President's Day, the office is closed. On 2/19, effective dates for ZC 2025-02, 03, and 04. And on 2/27, the zoning commission again will meet here at 7 o'clock. And
223 is the pancake breakfast.
Boy Scout, troop 101,
what date?
pancake breakfast, 23rd,
The 23rd.
I think there's cards over there.
Take the 12:30.
Is there any further discussion on any topic here with the board? Is there anyone in the audience that needs to address the board before we adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yes, there is.
Dan?
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
Let's take the turn right.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out on a cold, snowy
The tracks.
February day.
System distribution. So, there you have a number for it. You know something on it? Yeah. Been trying to get out there.
One time, I don't know, I came down, they got a call, so they said 17 gallons or something.
Yeah, down it's,
Yeah, you should just get be somebody to be all over.
Maybe she won't,
Maybe she was worried, but no, it was chaos, it was, you were pulling up one of the entrance.
that'd be
When I was
26.
a kid, I didn't even remember stink bugs, like, they didn't even exist.
Oh, my God, I killed two of them today.
I did the research on this, they came over in the early 90s in what they think was probably steel equipment from China. They wrapped in a colony of them that went to Allentown, Pennsylvania. like 91. That's how fast these things are taking
And
off.
when you squish
You know,
those
six
things,
tomorrow.
you can put them in a napkin and squeeze them and they spread.
We'll see.
That's why you don't squish it.
No, it's even more.
I wanna make sure they're not coming.
I will come in my house.
How they doing?
September, and I got the patio door open. I
Yeah.
got the
I guess it was at the doctor.
things on
I got a lot of them.
there. Mike doesn't
Good
get
bill
up to
on
that
the, all
house.
the
They are,
cigars.
I think what happened was,
Right.
when I was building that place,
Yeah, it's
they were
working.
doing the trim in my house in late September. Cutting stuff out from the driveway. Doors are all wide open, windows are everything wide open. I go back there and might have to.
Right.
How did you know about that?
300 of them in there. So I think my offspring are coming back.
I've never seen that many, but like I said,
Oh, I got it.
the day didn't go by where I don't kill 3 or 4 of them. That's
I get them like one at a time.
Oh, God, not me.
I killed one in the
get 'em
kitchen, on the kitchen
dozens.
window before I came.
I get them just dozens.
Yeah, that's what I mean, there's like one just in there, and there's one sitting in the seat, I don't know where it came from, why it's there.
Just one, dozens.